Hello, Catoctin! It's your old friend, the man in the yellow hat, and Curious George. So it's been a different week here for all of you and for me. I'm at my house, staying safe with my friend Curious George, but it's pretty tough to be quarantined with a monkey. It is so silly trying to keep this curious monkey away from outside. We go for walks and stuff, but he's very curious, so we have to make sure that he's social distancing. But we've been doing that. We've been having fun, reading books. And just to let you know, I'm an old friend of Catoctin's. I have read in Mrs. Hartman's class, Mrs. Malayo's class, Mrs. Cunningham, Mrs. McInturf. So I'm old friends with a lot of people at Catoctin. And also, in between books, I'm going to read a couple books today. After the first book, I'm going to do a little Q&A, so you can ask a question in the comments, and I'll pull up the computer and read and try and answer some of those. We have two great books today. The first one we're going to read is Curious George Goes to a Chocolate Factory. What do you think is going to happen there? You're such a curious little monkey. We also might have a special guest later. We will see. But first, let's read our first book, Curious George Goes to the Chocolate Factory, by Margaret and H.A. Ray. Here we go. Are you ready, Catoctin? Curious George Goes to the Chocolate Factory. This is George. George was a good little monkey and always very curious. One day, George went for a drive with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. Hey, that's me. Look, George, the man said, there's a store in the chocolate factory up ahead. Let's stop for a treat. George loved chocolates. Inside the store, boxes and boxes of chocolates were stacked everywhere, but the man with the yellow hat found his favorites right away. George, he said, wait here while I buy these, and please stay out of trouble. George looked around the store. He saw chocolate-covered cherries and fudge-flavored lollipops. A chocolate bunny caught his eye. Then something else caught his eye. What were all those people looking at? George was curious. He climbed up to get a better look. Through the window, he saw lots of trays filled with little brown dots. What were all those little brown dots? George was curious. He found a door that led to the other side of the window. The little brown dots were chocolates, of course, and a tour guide was showing a group of people how to tell what was inside the chocolates by looking at the swirls on top. Ooh, the little swirl means fudge. This one says caramel's inside. The little wiggle is for marshmallow. The sideways swirl's for orange fluff. This one is for nougat. This little squiggle is for truffle. And this one was George's favorite. Could you guess? Banana cream. George followed the tour guide until they came to a balcony overlooking a room where the chocolates were being made. Down below, busy workers picked the candy off the machines and put them in boxes. These were the machines that made the chocolates with the swirls on top. The chocolates came out of the machines on long belts. But how did they get their swirls? George was curious. He climbed down from the balcony, silly, and up onto the machine. George peeked inside. He was trying to see what was making the swirls when all of a sudden, the chocolates began coming out faster and faster. They sped by him so quickly that they seemed to be running on legs of their own. Quick, bring more boxes, yelled the man with the tall white hat. What happened? Asked another man. Nobody answered. Nobody knew what happened. And everyone was so busy, no one noticed George. The workers began to fall behind, and the candy began to fall off the end of the belt. Save the chocolates! Yelled the man with the tall white hat. Meanwhile, George saw one of his favorites whiz by. He tried to catch the banana cream chocolate, but it was too fast. He chased it to the end of the belt. At the end of the belt were a pile of chocolates growing taller and taller. George had never seen so many chocolates, and he searched for the banana cream. He put the others in the empty boxes. George was a fast worker. Someone inside noticed and yelled, "Bring that monkey more boxes! He's helping us catch up!" Not all of the chocolates made it into the boxes, but no more chocolates fell on the floor. Just when George and all the workers were caught up, the tour guide ran in with the man with the yellow hat. "Get that monkey out of here," she yelled. "He's ruining our chocolates." "But this little monkey saved the chocolates," explained the workers. Then the man with the tall white hat said to George, "You may have caused some trouble, but you were a speedy little monkey. You deserve a big box of candy for all your help." George was glad he was not in trouble, but he did not take the chocolates. Back in the parking lot, the workers waved goodbye as George and his friend got into the little blue car. "George, are you sure you didn't want any chocolates before we leave?" asked the man with the yellow hat. George was sure. I like that story because I like chocolates, and so does Curious George. So I always like reading that to the classrooms at Catoctin. We always have fun reading that. And I'm also going to read a poem. It's one of my favorite poems. It's from two obscure New Mexico teenagers, one by the name of Troy Barlow and one by the name of Gabriel Montez. And it goes like this. "We're all in this together. Once we know that we're all stars. And we see that. We're all in this together. And it shows when we stand hand in hand, makes our dreams come true." So I think those are really good words right now, because we really are in this together. And this is a fun little thing that people have been doing online. It's called Together at Home, that we're all together watching something, even though we're not with each other at Catoctin. But we soon will be someday. Oh, there's a special guest. I didn't realize you were going to come. Look, it's the Cardinal. Hello, Catoctin Cardinal. Good to see you. Have you been practicing social distancing? Good, good. But I've seen you at the bird feeder. Are you staying away from those other birds? Good for you. All right. Well, the Cardinal's going to be here while we read another... Oh, actually, no. Q&A. I'm going to see if there's any questions. Here we go. All right, George. Let's see if there's any questions from the public. All right, let's see. Did anybody ask any questions? Let's see. Oh, somebody's having trouble getting it to play. That's not good. Hopefully it works. No questions. Anybody? Diane, you want to ask a question? Julie, questions? Anyone? Does anybody want to know my real name? I don't know. Starts with a T. All right, well, no questions right now. Maybe we'll come back in a little bit. And now, since we want to take it a little more serious for the older kids, we're going to read a book with no pictures. What do you think of that, Cardinal? A nice serious book for everybody? A book with no pictures? Book with No Pictures by B.J. Novak. All right, here we go, Catoctin. We got the Cardinal here. This is the book with no pictures. Oh, seems good. Might seem like no fun to have someone read you a book with no pictures. Do you think it's going to be boring? It probably seems boring and serious, except here's how the book works. Everything the words say, the person reading the book has to say. Oh boy. No matter what. That's the deal. That's the rule. So that means, even if the words say, Blurk. What? Wait, what? That doesn't even mean anything. Blurf. Wait a second. What? This is the kind of book I wanted to read. And I have to say every word this book says. Uh-oh. I am a monkey who taught myself to read. Hey, I'm not a monkey. And now I am reading you this book with my monkey mouth, in my monkey voice. That's not true. I'm not a monkey. I'm not a monkey. Yes, I am a monkey, and I am a robot monkey. What? And my head is made of blueberry pizza. Wait a second. Is this whole book a trick? Can I stop reading this, please? No? And now it's time for me to sing you my favorite song. A song? Do I really have to sing? Glug, 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 my face is a bug. I eat ants for breakfast right off the rug. What? This book is ridiculous. Can I stop reading yet? No, there are more pages I have to read. My only friend in the whole wide world is a hippo named Boo Boo Butt. What? Boo Boo Butt. And also, the kids I'm reading to from Catoctin are the best kids ever in the history of the entire world. Well, that's true. That's true. And the kids at Catoctin are the smartest kids, too. because the Catoctin kids chose this book even though it had no pictures. Because Catoctin Cardinals know that this is the book that makes grown-ups have to say silly things. And make silly sounds like... Uh-oh. Here it comes. You ready, Cardinal? Oh, boy. Galuga, guaca, moga-garumba-doo, blaggity, blaggity, glippity, gloppity, glippity, beep-bop, the donkey face. Oh, my goodness. Please don't ever make me read this book again. It is so silly. In fact, it is utterly and completely preposterous. Next time, Catoctin, please, 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 please choose a book with pictures. Because this is just too ridiculous to read. The end. Bonk! Oh, I didn't want to say that. So, whew, well that is a pretty crazy book. So, thank you for choosing that book, Catoctin Cardinals. So now, me and the Cardinal and George are going to read some of the comments. Andrew wants to know the Cardinal's real name. You know, that is a great question. I've been meaning to ask Mrs. Plattenberg what the Cardinal's real name is. Because at the Coffee with Cardinals, everybody was asking what his name. We were just saying Cardinal. So we really need to talk to Mrs. Plattenberg about this and see if it has a name. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? I don't know. So let's see. Where are the other comments? Oh. But no, we need to get to the bottom of that. Where is it? So, oh, how old George is? Well, George is actually pretty old for a monkey. Actually, no, pretty young for a monkey. He's still kind of like in the early teenage years for a monkey. So he's still very mischievous and curious. How old is the Cardinal? Well, I would think the Cardinal is probably over 50 years old because so is Catoctin. And I would think, yeah, he's a pretty old Cardinal. But he's looking good, right? He's not gray yet. He still has that, nice black hair on the top. No gray hairs yet for this Cardinal. What does the Cardinal like to eat? What does the Cardinal like to eat? That's a good thing. Seeds. Like lots of seeds at the spaghetti from the spaghetti dinner. Also, we really loved the donuts from, I believe they were from Target at the Coffee with Cardinals. So, yeah, he likes all those things. Let's see, what other questions do we have? How old? Let's see. Oh, everybody wants to know how old the Cardinal is. What time does the Cardinal go to bed? Luckily, the Cardinal goes to bed pretty early in this household. So probably between 7 and 8, but you should always listen to your mom and dad about when it's time to go to bed. Because you got to treat these days like school days. Oh, Bryce would like to know if the Cardinal has a nest. That's a great question. He moves so fast sometimes, I don't even know where his nest is. He just kind of disappears. He goes somewhere. Do you have a nest? Yeah? Yeah, he has a nest. So I was wondering, do you think it's a male Cardinal or female Cardinal? Because I think is it the male that has the red head? So it might be a female Cardinal. We don't know. But we're going to find that out. We're going to talk to Mrs. Plattenberg and see what is going on with the name. Where's George finding bananas right now? Safeway had some bananas. Giant had some bananas. But he really doesn't eat them. So, because, that's what he likes, right? Let's see. Well, maybe just a few more minutes. George is getting enough bananas. What does Cardinal like to eat? Everybody is concerned. Yeah, we have plenty of food, luckily, for George and the Cardinal. Claudia wants to know what the Cardinal's favorite sport is. The Cardinal used to play water polo, but its wings got all wet when it was in the water. So what can you do? Interact. What sport do you like to play? Can you do the sport with your hands? Oh, I think the Cardinal's holding a lacrosse stick. So the Cardinal likes to lax it up. Oh, could you read one more book? Oh, man. I guess I could read one more book. Do we have? That's a nice request. Can the cardinal fly? Of course the cardinal fly. Because that's why we can read this again another day if you want. How old is the man with the yellow hat? That's a good question. We'll have to save that for a later one. I've traveled the world with my friend George. But you don't know if I have gray hair because I don't take off my yellow hat. So let's see. Are the poets from High School Musical? That is a good question. I don't watch too much television, but I believe Troy Barlow and Gabriel Montez, the poets, did go to East Valley High in New Mexico. I've been told that they may have starred in a movie with a couple of their friends, including Sharpay, who is a poet of the song Huma Huma Nuka Aqua, which is a classic poem song from Sharpay. So, what does George do on the monkey bars? He flips and swings. And can you imagine? When he has so much energy he needs to get out right now, that he goes outside, he goes on walks with me, we give space to everyone, we say hi, but we can still say hi to people. We see friends that are, we can still see our friends, can wave to them, but we also want to stay safe. And Cardinal, have you been washing your hands? Washing our hands? Gotta wash those hands. You gotta sing 2 songs. So I like to sing Who Let George Out instead of Who Let the Dogs Out. I sing that twice when I'm washing my hands because George always gets out somehow. So should we read one more story? Someone said they want another story, so let's see. Let's see. All right. Curious George and the Boat Show. Are we seeing this? It was a beautiful day and George was curious, as always. He was curious about all the boats on the river. George liked one boat best of all. It was carrying cars. That is a ferry boat, said the man with the yellow hat. George liked to boat watch, but he was eager to get to the lake. If he was lucky, he might see another ferry boat. Yes, George does like ice cream. Cookies and cream. At the lake, there were lots of people. They were watching the model boat contest. There were boats of all kinds. Bill showed George his model sailboat. George thought this was wonderful. I saved a lot of money to build this boat, Bill said. Will you keep it safe until the contest? George was happy to help. He held the boat very carefully. He looked at the boat. He looked at the toy cars, and George had an idea. George made Bill's boat look just like a ferry boat. Oh no, it sank! What would Bill enter into the contest now? George tried to make another boat for Bill out of his toys, but it sank too. George saw that some of the toys floated, and he had a better idea. George looked at the other boats on the river. He made plans to build a boat from his floating toys. Bill would be proud. When Bill came back, he saw the new boat. That is a great ferry boat, Bill said. Then George showed Bill what happened to the sailboat. Uh-oh, Bill said, I forgot to shut the boat's windows. I'll fix that. Now water cannot get inside and the boat will float. Let's go enter our boat into the contest. Everyone won a blue ribbon for all their hard work, even George. See, I don't have to say as many silly words in that book. Well, friends, I think we're gonna just about wrap it up. Next Tuesday at 10:30, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have another fun Facebook live stream with the PTA, and that's gonna be hosted by Christina Adams. She did the Piggy Opera last year, and then also the Adams family did the Haunted Stage at Harvest Fest. So she has some really cool things coming next Tuesday. Join us then. Thank you all for coming. And even though we're not at the building Catoctin, we can figure out ways to be together and have some fun. And we'll see you next time together at home. So see you later, Cardinal. High five, Cardinal. Good job. Boom. See you later. Oh, wait.